Yo, Gabe,
Yo.
can you walk us through the process?
Yeah, so right now I'm actually just feeling out the beat, seeing where it's heading, looking at the frequency. It's definitely a good sounding beat, which is a great plus, so I'm not gonna have to do that much. I'm just kind of gauging the main level for the beat so that I can fit things in accordingly. Typically I'm going for around 14, the total maximum of the mix should be around 13 LUFs. So, I'm gauging where this beat is in line with that. So I'm typically going for like 18 or 17 LUFs to allow that amount for the vocal. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm definitely gonna add some controlling and then some possibly boosting on certain things. A lot of times these beats don't come through with a lot of high end or a lot of low end in a lot of ways. So that's what I'm doing literally with this right here. I'm just kind of upping the snare and stuff, as you can hear. And then you can actually do this with this. And then on the master on the mix bus, I'm gonna control what I'm doing here. Yeah, so I'm boosting it, but it's gonna get knocked back down on the mix bus. Everything I'm doing is with the thought of the end result in mind.
Like this for no regular job, don't do this here for no regular life. Try to go and put it in rice. Gotta shoot my eyes stepping outside. Got people that's.
Whoa, Gabe, is that gold clip?
Yeah, so I see gold clip as kind of a sound box or a tone shaper, essentially. So, in the modern age, everyone's obsessed with clipping and distorting and saturating and conversion. So really, I'm just using that to get that Lavery gold sound that's like a classic converter sound of, when you push through it, you get this nice mid-range upfrontness, nice high end, and it actually does something nice with the lows too. It doesn't a lot of tone shapers fuck up the low end, to be honest. When you push through it hard, it really does something you don't want, essentially. This one actually uplifts the frequency spectrum across the board in my opinion. It's not messing anything up from pushing too hard. So I'm having fun with it. I'm loving it. It's uplifting my mixes already.
Gravity is really starting to catch up. Still trying to stack it like this Tetris. I ain't living like this for no regular job. Don't do this here for no regular life. Damn, even without no millies involved. Just trying to secure this win out of spite. Hustle broke from the trauma of Frey. Even trying to go and put it in rice. Gotta shoot my eyes stepping outside. Got people that's depending on me. It's all going up. I feel the pressure on me. Gravity.
Yeah, all these knobs look crazy. What is this right here?
This is the Fairchild 670, one of my favorite tube-based compressors. This is probably one of the most sought-after pieces and most expensive pieces. But basically what it's doing is very, very smoothly compressing. This is probably the smoothest compressor out, transparency-wise. It's just smooth. It almost doesn't even sound like it's compressing, but it is. I audibly hear it, but to the normal person, I could go pretty crazy with this and you would be like, oh, it still kind of sounds smooth. So this is a great, the way it latches on, I would compare it to a CL1B, honestly. It's more about the colors on the compressor, This one adds a little bit more mid-range to me, and the Tube Tech does a little bit more warmth, or low end, to the source. So it's the tools in your utility belt, man. All depends on what you're looking for, but I felt this works for this because I want him a little bit more forefront, mid-range, and the Fairchild 670 specifically adds that. Hi-hats, you run hi-hats through it, it adds a little nice mid-range push. So. And then I'm also using, whoa, that looks great.
Even trying to go and put it in rice. Gotta shoot my eyes stepping outside. Got people that's depending on me. It's all going up.
I like doing minimal things with each plugin. I don't like overdoing something with one plugin and making it overwork. I rather have multiple plugins doing small movements to equal a big goal.
We're also using Soothe. Shout out Oak Sound.
Shout out Oak Sound. Yeah, Soothe is fire though. As Justin sees all. That's like my new thing. I'm doing it. I might even put it twice on the vocal train. It's it just eases the process because to be honest with you, we already have so many things we have to think about a lot every single day in processes. This does not make me have to think a lot. And that's very key for the amount of shit I have to do every day. You know what I'm saying? So If it's just the added layer of like, I can trust it and not have to be like, oh, it's doing too, you know what I mean? And overthink what it's doing and fix it basically, fix the plugin or make it work right. This doesn't have that problem, to be honest. I've never had it slapped on and it didn't sound reasonably where it needed to be without just adjusting little things, you know? Like, it's really awesome. Can't say nothing but good things.
Depending on me, it's all going up. I feel the pressure on me. Gravity is really starting to catch up. Still trying to stack it like this Tetris home. I ain't living like this for no regular job. Don't do this here for no regular life. Down even without no millies involved. Just trying to secure this win out of spite. Hustle broke from the trauma of Ray.
That's the Maggie cue. That's for the high end, right?
Gotta show my eye.
Yeah, well, I'm doing some low. I like adding weight to vocals with it, so like, I'll probably.
Got people that's depending on me.
I kind of like the sub, but let me try.
Got people that's depending on me.
A lot of this is trial and error, you know. But
got people that's depending on me. It's all going up. I feel the pressure on me.
yeah,
Grab
so
it.
that nice now. So like bypass.
Got people that's depending on me. It's all going up. I feel the pressure on me. Gravity.
Bypass.
Got people that's depending on me. It's all going up. I feel the pressure
lift
on me.
up.
Gravity.
And I'm just gonna kind of gain match it, just so it's like not too out of line with the balance.
Got people that's depending on me. It's all going up. I feel the pressure on me. Gravity is
And as you
really
can see,
starting.
we're already at 14 less, which is a good level for a master
Got
mix.
people that's depending on me. It's all going up. I feel the pressure on
But
me.
you know, now the thing is, I like imparting a bit of that master juice into it. That's what I'm doing with the gold clip. Essentially. I'm kind of like slightly mastering it with a conversion.
Got people that's depending on me.
Or at least
It's all
adding
going up. I feel the
those type
pressure
of
on me.
frequencies I wouldn't have
Gravity is
mastered.
really starting to catch up. Still trying to stack it like this Tetris home. I ain't living like this for no regular job. Don't do this here.
I'm trying to figure out, because 2.5 is usually one of his main frequencies. So
Got people that's depending on me. It's
So
all
I should've
going up. I
turned
feel
that
the pressure on me. Gravity is really starting to catch up. Still trying to stack it like this Tetris home. I ain't living like this.
So
for
the
no-
settings I had on this was from a rough mix, so I always kind of just go through what I already was doing just to like make sure it made sense. And if not, like you just saw, I changed it.
Got people that's depending on me. It's all
Real
going
quick,
up.
can
I
you
feel the
expand on this trial and error mindset that you have?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the only way, the thing about it is like there is no one true way to do things every single time. It's all a matter of the source material and the signal and the voltage coming through. So that being said, it's always gonna be different. You know, this is like very fine line frequency based, you know, parameters that are always going to change, whether it's the recording, the beat, whatever, or the vocal. Every single vocal, it doesn't matter to me if it's the same artist singing on the same mic, it's going to be different. The amplitude, the voltage, the way he sings into it, it's going to change. So I have presets that gets me to a starting point that usually is the case for them, but I'm still tweaking my presets. You shouldn't just be like, yeah, it's Zach, so that's how I do it every time. You know what I'm saying? Because every song's different, as it should be. Nothing's the same, ever, you know? So that's why I trial and error and try different things out, you know? And to be honest, that's how you stay competitive, too. Like, on the, you know, having new things, making a new sound, growing your records up, you know what I mean? Maybe you invented a new vibe, you know what I'm saying? But that's how you would get to that. Without trying and, like, guessing and, like, pushing and trying to grow or figure things out, you're really gonna put yourself in a box.
Got people that's depending on me. It's all going up. I feel the pressure on me. Gravity is really starting to catch up. Still trying to stack it like this Tetris home. I ain't living like this for no regular.
I actually kind of like the little, like,
Got people that's depending on me. It's all going up. I
what
feel
would I
the
say?
pressure.
A little saturation sound, or like you know what I'm talking about. There's like this throat noise in his
Gritty.
Yeah,
Like the
grittiness.
grittiness.
Yeah, I kind of like that. So I'm not gonna change that. I feel like that's part of the feel. But see, that's the thing. A lot of what I'm doing is like, yeah, we're technical and getting anal, but like, let's also keep in mind the feel and the vibe of a record. You know, because that essentially sometimes matters even more than the technicalities of it. You know.
Got people that's depending on me. It's all going up. I feel the pressure on me. Gravity is really starting to catch up. Still trying to stack it like this Tetris home. I ain't living like this for no regular job. Don't do this here for no regular life. Down even without no millies involved. Just trying to secure this win out of spite. Hustle broke from the trauma of Ray. Even tried to go and
Okay, I'm seeing a whole bunch of lines here. What is this?
This is just giving me a gauge of where the frequency curve is. So typically when you're mastering, you look for a general frequency curve across the whole song just to see like the average of everything across the whole record to see if it's balanced or not. So this is kind of emulating that, but basically what they did that was crazy. Basically what this company did is they listened to thousands of songs, right? And they literally found the EQ curves and then put it into the system. So now the system has its own algorithm for genres that's based off of mainstream music. So they have like EDM, country, and these are actual curves from hundreds of songs that they imported and sourced the algorithm basically. So now they have algorithms based on genre that they put into their algorithm. So that's what the curves are. That's why I'm trying to get in those curves to explain what I'm shooting for and why I'm shooting it. It's because they did tests to figure out what was very prominent in certain genres. Like, are they doing more low end, less low end? Is it more warm? Is it more mud? Is it more high end? Is it more, you know what I mean? And you'll notice accordingly, like modern music definitely is more, you see more high end, and you'll increasingly see, depending on the thing, the amount of low end as well. Like obviously the hip hop is gonna have more, the moderns definitely way more, like as you see the low mids, the high mids. If you go like R&B, you know what I mean? Like this is warmth right here, you know? So you can see that it's more prominent is all I'm saying. The low end's not as important. You can kind of see the fluctuation of the difference. And then you go to like bass heavy and you just see how close they are. You know what I mean? The frequency bands. So it's very interesting to use it.
Got people that's depending on me, it's all going up. I feel
it's basically just it's giving me a reference. It's giving me some information that I need right now. Because what I'm gonna do is I like putting a little multi-band on my mix bus just to control things before it's fast. Not like crazy though. If I want to get crazy, I'm gonna do that in the master. Like this is very minimal. It's not doing a lot.
Got people that's depending. On me, it's all going.
This is just for balance, right?
Just
controlling things.
Got people that's depending on me, it's all going up. I feel the pressure, only gravity is really starting to catch up. Still trying to stack it like this Tetris home. I ain't living like this for no regular job.
It basically keeps things from getting out of whack and just popping out. That's essentially how you can think of this. Nothing's gonna pop out through my process after I do this, you know? If I got the thresholds right, nothing's gonna pop. It's all about the thresholds now. That's why I'm looking at each band.
People that's depending on me, it's all going up. I feel the pressure, only gravity.
Like there's a lot that needs controlling down here. You can just tell from looking at the amount of signal that's coming through that band.
Only gravity is really starting to catch up. Still trying to stack it like this.
But that's where his vocal is. That's why that has so much
got people that's depending on me, it's all.
Fair amount of like
got people that's depending on me, it's all going up. I feel the pressure, only gravity is really starting to catch up. Still trying to stack it like this Tetris home. I ain't living like this for no regular job. Don't do this here.
Yeah, there's not that much high end or anything at this point. So
got people that's depending on me, it's all going up. I feel the pressure.
There's not that much here
is really starting
it was really this.
Still trying to stack it like this Tetris home. I ain't living like this for no regular job. Don't do this here for no.
And it was the main thing I was trying to control was the vocal and the bass, just because those are the two main things that typically get out of whack. It's one or the other. Meaning, typically, like on amateur mixes or people that are just you're gonna notice that. You're gonna notice it's either one or the other. It's like too vocal heavy or it's too much bass. You know what I'm saying? So those are very common problems. Is all I'm saying with music. They definitely just did like a Pharrell thing too.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Definitely did that. Disrespectful.
Got people that's depending on me, it's all going up. I feel the pressure, only gravity is really starting to catch up. Still trying to stack it like this.
I didn't even realize
I ain't living like this for no regular job. Don't do this here for no regular life. Damn, even without no millies involved. Just trying to secure this one out of spite. Also broke from the trauma of Frey. Even tried to go and put it in rice. Gotta shield my eyes stepping outside. I swear the sun was never this bright. Ain't breathing there cause it's capitalistic. If that was the point, then I must have missed it. So sick and twisted, sadistic. Fly right above with a heart to these pictures. They got us in hell, we stuck in the kitchen. All for the chicken, he up in the biscuit. Outside the drama, he soft and he timid. Act like the hoes, save that for the bitches. Ain't got no code, it's all about your image. Go straight compose and then edit the picture. When it's all online, do the lines make a difference. I'm not gonna lie, I fuck with this song too. Got people that's depending on me, it's all going up. When he was like spazzing out at the end. Compose and then edit the picture. When it's all online, do the lines make a difference. If that's all it is, now you got it, my nigga.
So what are some of these knobs?
This is a Bax EQ. This is basically a mastering EQ that uses a specific type of curve. Low shelf and high shelf curve specifically. That's very musical. It's called a Baxendale curve. It's basically just to simplify it. you know, doing shelf offs aren't clean and not musical. This is very like slow sloping, you know? That's what they call it, a musical curve. So it's slow. It's not like harsh, it's not wilding out, it's just cleaning up very slowly. Like, think of it like a big wraparound instead of like a, you know? That's how I explain it. Visually. But yeah, that's all I was doing. It's just literally cutting out, like, I don't need under 24 hertz typically. So there's no need for that. It's not audible. Yeah. So I'm just cleaning up to give myself headroom, technically, for the master. Like, I don't need 70 kilohertz. First of all, you can't even hear that. The human ear can't hear that, so. It's just getting rid of stuff that's not needed. Y'all got it, my nigga. That's all it is now. Y'all got it, my nigga. Y'all got it, my nigga, man. Y'all got it, my nigga. Oh, God. That's all it is now. Y'all got it. Composing the edit the picture when this all online with the lines make a difference. That's all it is. Alright, so now we gotta do the artist edits. Yeah. Hey. Yeah.